Hi, I'm Heather North from heatherscreativeblessings.com. I'm here with my July bullet journal planner setup. I have it penciled out and I'll get to that in just a second, but I thought I would do a recap of my June bullet journaling. So here I have these days that I've got lots going on. What I did was I split them in half, and the bottom half was for my blog and business, and the top half of the day was for my family and personal. Now for my monthly spreads, I tend to use that to keep track of appointments, vacations, schedules, due dates, and things like that. This is my first full month in the B5 Leuchtturm 1917 dotted notebook. Before that, I had been using an A5 Moleskine planner, dotted as well. And this new planner is just a little bit bigger, so I've been playing with my layout and placement. The first week I did was actually in May, and I did it the way I had been doing it, with a weekly 2-page spread followed by my dailies. And I ended up with this big blank space that I just filled with my bill tracker. I put my weekly at the top, and then I had different things to put within the week there at the bottom, and I didn't fill it up. And then here's my 2-page spread for dailies. I was able to fit it on 2 pages instead of 4, but I still didn't end up filling up that entire space. So I decided to try the next week to do it all in one. My weeklies at the top, followed by my dailies at the bottom. And I really like this layout, so I kept it through June. Now we come to an almost blank week. I had started filling out over the weekend, and then Monday, unexpectedly, we had to put our dog to sleep. He'd been my companion for over 11 years, and it was really difficult. And you know what? I had to just let some things go in life, and that included my bullet journal planner for the week. And I kept it in here, and I'm sharing that with you because sometimes life does that to you. And you need to know it's okay. It's okay to just put some things aside, focus on yourself, and get to a place where you can function again. So back to the next week. This week, I did something a little bit different, which I really liked, and that was to use a highlighter. This happens to be a gray one for my dates, and that really helped me see it in big letters. It really did help. And another thing that I noticed, by having my dailies below my weeklies, instead of migrating tasks that didn't get finished, migrating it to the next day and the next day and the next day, I just left it blank, and once I got it done, I filled it in. If it wasn't filled in at some point during this week, then I migrated it to the second week. This helped free up some room, but I still had plenty of room at the top to keep my blog and my family and everything organized. So this is going to be next week, or possibly the week you're at right now. I used washi tape here to divide the bottom section. And then at the top, I took my highlighter. My husband's on vacation. It's actually a staycation. We're going to be at home doing yard work and some home repair stuff. Not very fun, but he's on vacation that entire week. So I just took the highlighter and highlighted it off. You'll see here in a minute that I actually use the highlighter even more in the month of July. So let's get started on July. I have some glitter washi tape on the page under my July layout, and it's a little bit bumpy and rough to write on, so I just grabbed a thin piece of cardboard. You can also use a piece of plastic, and I'm putting it under my page as just a smooth surface to be able to write on. Now I have just one box down for my days of the week, and then each of the boxes will be 8 across by 7 down. And as you can see, I've already ticked those off in pencil. I'm going to refer to my calendar at the front of my notebook to see what day of the week the month starts on and ends on. And then I will just fill in each of these spaces. As you can see, I liked that highlighter so much, I filled it in on every day of the month of July. I got this idea for lettering from Lisa Walters at creatively.com, and she was doing a Periscope, and she had some lettering, and I said, "Oh, can you show us how to do that?" And she did, and I did it along with her, and it was so much fun. But I'm not all that great at lettering, so what I did was I just drew out the month of July, and you can see I'm just erasing here. I drew it out in red, and then I grabbed my highlighter. Now in the video that Elisa did, we did block letters, but I'm going to end up using my highlighter pen and doing kind of a block letter with my highlight pen. I like to use the last page of my bullet journal for pen testing. So that's what I'm doing here. I've got some stickers I'm going to end up putting on my calendar. So I just went to see which color of blue or red matched with that the best. And that's what I chose. So isn't that cool? I love that. So thank you, Lisa, for that. I will try and include a link down below. If I forget, somebody please leave a comment and remind me so that you can find her. She did a 31 Days to Love Your Lettering over on her blog, and you can pick up lots of ideas on how to do your own hand lettering. So I'm just going to hashtag, I decided to mark off half of each day of the month, and I'm just going to dedicate that to my blog. If I don't have anything to write there, then I won't. If I need to fill it up for family, I can. But this way I've got an instant visual to what's going on in my family at the top half of the day and my blog at the bottom. One of the other things I'm going to do is I'm going to use a highlighter, different colors for each member of my family, and I'm going to highlight out their schedules. So my husband's vacation right there will be in that aqua blue. One of my sons will be in dark blue, so I can keep track of his driver's ed, his work, his cross country. And you'll see here in a minute, I went a little bit happy with the pen. I was marking out when he has driver's ed, and it actually ends July 15th, but I kept it going the entire month. So the Tombow Mini correction pen is my bestest friend. I use that thing a lot because I make a lot of mistakes, and I'm like, I almost wanted to just start this whole video over and redo July, and then I thought, you know what, it doesn't have to be perfect. All it is a place for me to keep track of my family's life and to keep us all organized. So I'm just going to carry on here and let you listen to some music. You may have seen me flipping back and forth to the front of my bullet journal. That is because I have a year at a glance there, and so I'm just transferring over appointments and birthdays and things like that. So now let's move on to my weekly and daily spread. Again, I just have one box for the days of the week, and each day is 8 across. Now the sections below are a little bit different. So I go down 5 boxes, and that's for my family and personal. 2 more boxes, that's for meal planning. Then I skip a line, and the bottom boxes are for my blog and business. So I go down 4 spaces for creative blessings. I go down 3 spaces for Stamp Nation and Stamp of Approval. And then I go down 2 spaces for the South Sound Modern Quilt Guild, and another 2 spaces for Calling All Sisters Challenge. If you don't follow me regularly and watch my card making videos, Calling All Sisters is a campaign to remind all of our sisters to do their monthly breast self-exams and schedule their yearly mammograms. Now, men can get breast cancer too, so go ahead and check yourselves. But the 17th of every month, I make sure I put that on my calendar with a little pink ribbon to remind myself to do my self-checks. But I'm also the blog hop coordinator for Michelle Gross's Casual Friday Stamps Calling All Sisters Challenge. So there's different things that I need to do throughout the month for that, and that's why I've got 2 spaces there. So as you can see, if you have different things in your life that you need to organize in different categories, just give them their own space. I don't need to do things on each of those categories down below every single day, but they're there if I do need them. And as you can see, again, I used my highlighter for my days of the week. This really helps them pop out. The 4th of July is Independence Day here in the United States, so that's why you see the fireworks, and it's highlighted in blue. It's a national holiday. I'm just going to use my lei pen to visually mark off the bottom part for my dailies. I split it in half. I'm just counting the spaces, and I'm dividing by 2, and that's where my center line is, both directions. And I'm just doing dashes and dots. I'm not being really careful here. I'm just wanting a visual separation. Previously, I have been writing week of at the top of each page, so I'd use some washi tape week of July 4th through the 10th, and then another strip of washi tape across the top. I didn't really like how that looked, but I needed something to visually see which week I was on. Well, now that I have these numbers highlighted as big as they are, I don't need that visual. I can see very easily at a glance that I'm on the week of July 4th through the 10th. So instead of writing it at the top, I'm just going to use a washi tape all across the top of the page, and visually I like that much better. Now for my dailies, I have it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then that last box I write out next week. So anything that I know is coming up for next week that I need to do, I can just put it down there. For example, the Calling All Sisters blog hop is on the 17th. So I know I'm going to need to be filling out stuff for that there. I'm using some stamps. This is Lawn Fawn stamps it's from Lawn Fawn. It's called Plan On It, and Smoky Slate ink from Stampin' Up. I stamped a little envelope because I need to mail out a birthday card that day. And I also stamped some little hearts. This is just the way I'm doing my tracker. If I end up getting back on track, I can keep track of something that I want to do daily. So whether it's doing my devotionals or drinking water or whatever. And that Plan On It stamp set has all kinds of different things that you could, different icons that you could use for different things that you need to do. You might have seen a little postcard in the very front of my bullet journal. That just came in the mail today, and it is it's from my vet to remind me that one of my pets needs to get vaccinated. Not the one that just passed away, thank goodness. That would be terrible to get that in the mail. But my other dog does need to get her vaccinations done. So I'm going to use one of the Plan On It icons. It's got a little phone to call and make that appointment later this month. So once again, I'm just going to let the music play while I finish filling this out. I think I'm going to use some stickers this time and fill out another week in my planner. I'm just going to continue to fill in different reminders and appointments in my bullet journal and finish the next 2 weeks off camera. I might even wait to fill out those last 2 weeks of the month because I'm already 3 weeks ahead and I want to see how this works for me. I might even change it up for the last week or two in July. It seems like I always have some new idea to try out. I hope that you've liked my video today and that you picked up maybe a tip or two that you can use for your own planner. One of the things I love about this type of planning is that we can customize it to our needs at the moment. If you like my video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel to see more from me. I've got an entire playlist devoted to my bullet journal planner videos. I'll also be sure and include a supply list so you can see the products that I used. And over on my blog, if you're watching on YouTube, I've got these close-up pictures for you to see. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy planning. Bye.